Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Bronx podcast. Thank you for tuning in today. I've got a loaded episode for you guys today. It's been a while since we last talked. We got a lot to cover, as always is the case with the Yankees. Really, tons of news, tons of opinions to share. It's just a fun time being a Yankees fan. It really is, even though sometimes when you lose, it's not so fun a time. But as always, if you enjoy the content here and you want to see more of me, check out the socials down in the bottom left. That's where I kind of do my everyday coverage. On Instagram, I mainly do the news and opinion-based stuff, and then on TikTok is videos of me talking briefly, post-game, everything like that, recaps, previews, that kind of thing, and then obviously the long-form content here on YouTube. So if you do enjoy that, make sure to check those out and give me a subscription here, follow there. And as always, if you want to be featured on the podcast or you have a question you want to be answered, just make sure to leave a comment in the YouTube section or message me on any one of the platforms. Like I said, I do want it to be community oriented, just because we're the best fan base in baseball. So I want everyone that wants to be featured and have questions answered on here, everything like that. But as always, not going to waste any of you guys' time. We're going to get right into it. On the slate for today, we're talking about the state of the Yankees. We're talking about that series opener win against the Cardinals, and then just kind of in general how things have been going over the past 2 weeks. Obviously, we've had a couple of guys hit the IL, got a couple of guys coming back from the IL, including Aaron Judge, and then a couple of guys struggling. Just a lot of news to cover, generally this point in the season, we're in the dog days of August now, so there's a lot happening in the baseball world that we got to talk about. So I hope you guys are looking forward to it, and let's get right into it. Okay, so first things first, I just kind of wanted to address the current state of the Yankees, how things are going standing-wise, and my opinion on the current situation. Obviously, it's not ideal. At the time of recording, we are 65 and 57. We are clinging on to the last American League wildcard spot by 1.5 games, luckily enough, with our series opener win in St. Louis, and with the Braves beating the Guardians. Thank you, Atlanta. Appreciate it. We increased our lead from half a game entering play yesterday to 1.5 games after the results of yesterday, so we are right now, and we have a little bit more breathing room. It's not much. The Guardians are still breathing right down our necks, but we are still in that third wildcard spot. We do have sole possession of that, so that is good news. And then other teams that are currently still in the wildcard race, Texas Rangers and Kansas City Royals, they're kind of further behind. Right now, it's just kind of the Guardians that are breathing down our neck, but we're in a good spot. And something that I wanted to acknowledge, right? We've won 3 of our last 4 games, so I think we are starting to play better baseball. We won that series against the Twins. Some people were upset that we didn't sweep. And then the opener win against the Cardinals, it was a little bit closer than it needed to be, so we're still not doing everything cleanly yet, but I do think we could be starting to turn a corner in terms of the team starting to click a little bit more, because there for a while it seemed like certain things would go well, where like we'd pitch really well one game, but we couldn't hit that game, or we'd hit really well one game, and then we couldn't pitch to save our lives, and then when we pitch and hit well, it was fundamentals on defense that couldn't get the job done. So every time it felt like there was just one aspect of the game that was missing, and Derek Jeter said it the best way: in order to win a World Series, you have to be able to do every aspect of the game correctly, and everything has to go right. And I think you can scale that down even further to game by game in the major leagues. Everything kind of needs to go right to win a baseball game. You can get away with certain things on certain days because it is so long, but to be one of the best teams and to win more often than you lose, you have to get everything right on more days often than not. So I kind of think that the Yankees struggled with that for a while, and that's why we've had this prolonged slump. But yeah, like I said, 3 out of our last 4 games wins. I think we're starting to turn a corner. We are 65 and 57. And something I wanted to acknowledge, right? I saw a great comment. I forget who it was, but it was on social media. And if the person who commented this is watching this, I am sorry. This is not my words. They said that the floor of this team is a wild card loss, or maybe even missing the playoffs if things really hit the fan, But the ceiling of this team is winning the World Series. Like, this team has that level of talent, right? Like, we have so much talent on this roster, especially when fully healthy. There's no team in baseball that I believe is fully complete this year, right? The closest thing is the Brewers. And they're in the National League, luckily for us. And also, the past couple of years, we've beat up on the Brewers routinely, especially at the start of this year and last year. We've just put up 15, 20 runs on them damn near every game we played them. But they're the only team right now that I look at in either league, and I say every day, hey, this team looks like they're going to win. Like, they are playing solid baseball. They're almost at 80 wins right now. But you look at the American League, yes, the Blue Jays are good, right? We all know they put bat on ball, they play solid fundamental defense, and they pitch pretty well. They're not amazing pitch, they don't have an amazing staff, but they do all right for themselves, and it's been better lately. The Tigers, I think, are a little bit fraudulent. They got off to a really great start, but they've skidded a little bit lately. They're starting to turn it back around the past couple games, I believe, but I do believe the Tigers are a little bit fraudulent. I'm not too concerned about them. So the American League especially is wide open. I think that the Yankees have as good a chance of anyone to get to the Fall Classic, and you could win the whole thing with talent on this roster. I've always said, once you get to October, it's a whole new season, right? Like, think back to 2023. Both teams that win the World Series, the Diamondbacks and the Rangers that year, were from the wild card. This is the wild card era. Some people think it's an advantage, right? An advantage in the current format of the postseason to be in the wild card, because you can have a chance to get hot and get momentum before going into your respective DS. Where the teams that won the division and did everything right have to sit for an extra week or whatever, 5 days, whatever it is. So some people think it's an advantage to be in the wild card. So I just think right now it's about getting to the postseason. That's all we need to do. That's all we need to worry about. Control what we can control. Unfortunately, we have played ourselves into a spot where we have to look over our shoulder every day and see how the results of other games are going, right? We're the Yankees, all right? We're the biggest franchise in baseball. We are the face of baseball. When you talk to a fan that is not necessarily a baseball junkie or a baseball fan, the first logo they think of when they think of Major League Baseball is the Yankees, what I'm wearing on my hat right here. We're the biggest name in the game. Right? We shouldn't have to be looking back at our shoulder and seeing how other teams are doing. We should be at the top thinking about what we can control. But we've played ourselves into this situation. We have to play ourselves out, right? You can't go back and think about what could have been if different decisions were made, or if players made different pitches, or if, so-and-so happened differently. Right? We got to move on. We are in a position to go and make the postseason. We are in a very good position to go and make the postseason. Is it going to be by winning the division? Probably not. The American League is not going to run through Yankee Stadium this year. It's just not. Right? You have to accept that. That's the hole we've played ourselves into, but we still have as good a chance as anyone to go out there and lift that trophy come the end of the season. And that's truly my belief. And that brings me to my next point, which is not something that I wanted to talk about on here ever. There have been a lot of comments, clamorings from certain Yankees fans, certain Yankees corners of social media, saying that it would be better for the team if we missed the playoffs this season so that it would elicit change within the organization or within the front office or from Hal Steinbrenner or whatever. That is something that pisses me off beyond any belief that anyone would ever imagine. We are the New York Yankees. We don't miss the postseason to make change. When we miss the postseason, it is a cataclysmic event. Think back to 2023. Everything went wrong that year. Judge got hurt. We were employing players that should have been playing in the KBO or the Japanese league or the NPB or the Mexican league with the Diablos Rojas. Like, we were employing players that should not have been putting on the pinstripes every day. That was a cataclysmic season, and we paid the price, and we went back and we went to the World Series next year. Right? People think that's going to happen again with the talent level of this roster? No. Okay? No. We are the New York Yankees. We are perennial World Series contenders. We are the face of the game. We have the biggest fan base in the game. We are the biggest franchise in baseball. We do not do missing the playoffs. Right? That is not what we do at all. To the fans that are saying that, I don't understand how you could say that with a straight face and call yourself a fan when you're rooting against your team every single day. Now, if we were the Rockies, right, you want to elicit massive change. But we are some of the biggest spenders in baseball. We have one of the biggest payrolls. We have the biggest superstars. We have the best player in the game, arguably the best right-handed hitter ever. We don't do missing the postseason. That is not what we do in New York. And that's exemplified even more by the trade deadline we had. We had a phenomenal trade deadline. A lot of people think we didn't just because the first game back, the guys we got struggled, and because Jake Bird is trying to figure it out in AAA right now. People think that we did not have a good trade deadline. We did. We had one of the better trade deadlines in baseball. We had the best trade deadline in the American League East by far. Right? If you include all the trades, not just deadline day, if you include McMahon, if you include Rosario, Slater, and then all the bullpen arms on deadline day. We had the best trade deadline day in the American League East, right? So it's about getting to October, make things happen from there. We have as good a chance as anybody. Like I said, the American League is wide open. We do not root against our own team when we have so much talent on this roster, right? We're not it makes me so mad. I don't show a lot of emotion on this podcast. I prefer to just talk about the Yankees, about how much I love them, because they're genuinely the best part of my day is the 3 hours the Yankees are on TV. But when people say this, it irks me. It really does. I mean, it truly, I feel like David Cornsweet in the new Superman movie when he's talking about hashtag super shit. That's what it makes me feel like. If you guys get the reference, you know, but it makes me irate listening to people say that. We do not miss the postseason. We are the Yankees, right? We're in the postseason every year. Once we get there, we have as good a chance of anybody to go out there and win the whole damn thing, especially with the talent level on this roster. I truly believe we got a chance to go out there and get a ring, all right? Especially if Judgy can put together a good postseason. No, I can't even talk about it anymore. I need to check my blood pressure. But the bottom line is this. You got to go out there. You got to win baseball games. And that's what we need to do every single day. That's what we need to focus on day by day, is going out there and putting our best foot forward to win the game. And with that, I'm going to go on to my next point, because I'd rather not, raise my blood pressure by about 40 points. I'm recording a podcast episode. But my opinion on the future of the Yankees season, I do think we are turning it around. I think we're turning a corner. I truly do. You can call me an optimistic or average Yankees fan this. I don't care. I think we got 40 games left after the opener in St. Louis, 65-57, like I said at the time of recording. I think we go 25-15, putting us as a 90-win team don't think the division's happening this year. Unfortunate, but I think we get into the wild card. And like I said, once you get to October, it is a whole new season. Anything can happen from there, especially with, like I said, this era of baseball with the current postseason format and how many teams make it. This is called the wild card era, where the wild card, like I said, can be an advantage. Some people deem it an advantage. So that's my opinion on the future of the Yankee season. I'm very optimistic with this team. I have a lot of belief in this team. I think top to bottom, this team is better constructed than the 2024 roster that went on to the World Series. So if we can put it all together, if we can click every aspect of the game to make it so that everything goes right come October, I think we can be putting on a ring. I genuinely believe that. You can call me crazy, call me whatever you want, but I'm optimistic. I think we get in with 90 wins in the wild card, and I think we make something happen from there. But right now, all we think about is what can we do to put our best foot forward to win every single day, and what can we do to get to the postseason? Because once we get there, it's a whole different story. You got time to prepare, you got more stuff to think about, but right now it's about going out there every single regular season game, put us in a position to win so that we can get to October. That's all I'm going to say on that. And something that gives me confidence in this team, something that fuels kind of my optimism towards that, I know I said I was done talking about, but I wanted to add one more point, because I can, right? Something that fuels me is that I do think the mentality in the clubhouse is good. I think, based on the post-game responses, I know sometimes it feels like responses from Yankees players and Aaron Boone can be pre-programmed because you have that PR training, but I genuinely do think there is a good mentality in the clubhouse, and I think, especially the team camaraderie on the field, I think it is good, right? Like, think about Grisham's homer against the Astros, right? That moment was a big moment. He was hyped up. The dugout was hyped up. Like, this team still believes in each other, and I know that they know that there is a sense of urgency. Like, they have underperformed to this point, but they know the talent level. They're not freaking out about it, but they do know that they got to get it together, and I think they're starting to do that. I have a lot of confidence. I think that's something that Aaron Boone does well. Question what you want about his managerial decisions, how he manages his bullpen, how he puts in lineups, how he manages pinch hitters, so-and-so, everything like that. I think something he's always done is foster a positive clubhouse environment and a good atmosphere behind closed doors, like we saw, especially with last year with how tight that team was. I think that played a significant role in getting us to the Fall Classic. Think back to like the 2016 Cubs, how instrumental it was, how much that team loved each other. Camaraderie is such an important thing in baseball. It can truly take you places because baseball is such a game of such a mental game. I think this team kind of has that it factor, and I think once we see it, I think this team becomes a lot more dangerous. Okay, but now some stuff that does need to be improved and be improved soon. Max Fried has a 6 ERA in his last 7 starts. We are coming up. He is starting today against the St. Louis Cardinals, but in his starts since July 1st, 7 starts, 6 ERA. Not great. In general, I think, he had the blister issues where he wasn't throwing his breaking ball as much. Sometimes blisters, like, they can affect pitchers, especially with how niche everything in pitching is nowadays. It can truly affect a pitcher's game, something as small as a little blister or even a little callus or something like that. But I think just in general, the stuff hasn't been as sharp. I mean, his velo has been as good as ever, but the breaking ball, he hasn't been able to land it for strikes as much, especially early in counts. You see that backdoor curveball a lot to right-handed hitters. He hasn't hit that spot much lately. I think that's a big pitch for him. Even when he's front dooring it to lefties, just that curveball that's normally on the corner, it hasn't been there for him. He hasn't been throwing the off speed as much, and in general, I just think his command has been a little bit off. But no one knows that as much as Max Fried does, and I have full confidence in him. He's the ace of the staff. If this team wants to go places, we need him to get right, and he's going to. All the confidence in the world in him. When he's right, he's one of the best pitchers in the game, one of the best pitchers in the American League. Like, this is a guy that could go out and win a Cy Young in a Yankee uniform one day. So, like I said, unlucky with the blister thing, but he's going to figure it out. He's not going to go on this rut for much longer. Hopefully a strong start today in St. Louis that shows us that vintage Max Fried from earlier on in the season. Then we can all kind of settle down and be like, yeah, it was a rough stretch, but he's the ace. He figured it out, right? So hopefully that's going to be the case. He did get kind of screwed over in his last start versus Houston with that BS, not with that BS call on Cam Smith that led to the double. But either way, it wasn't his best start anyway. So, you kind of live and you learn with that. But he's going to figure it out. We stand by our ace. At least I do. And, yeah. But, speaking on Max Fried, it's important to mention a guy who has stepped up when he's been struggling. Will Warren has been great. He's maturing right before our eyes. I mean, was he Major League ready at the start of the season or at the tail end of last season when he was called up? Probably not. We kind of threw him into the deep end, but the kid is truly starting to figure it out. He's becoming a pitcher, not just a thrower. We know he has elite stuff. I mean, his sweeper is truly devastating. But in his last start, his velo was up. He touched 97 with the two-seamer. Like, for a guy that's been sat 92 to 94 all year, that's a huge jump. Like, he's got a lively fastball. He's got good extension down the mound, and his fastball just has a lot of life. He's got a deceptive delivery. He's held hitters well. He's given us some length at a time when our rotation was not giving us a lot of length, like 2 weeks in that span. He gave us that length. In that span, the two Yankees pitchers that pitched into the sixth inning were both Will Warren in two separate starts. Every start recently, it feels like he's giving us good starts, especially at home. So once he can figure it out, we're going to see how he does away from home tomorrow at Busch Stadium in the series finale against the Cardinals. He's getting the start there. But in general, he's been stepping up in a big way. I mean, he's using all of his pitches better. He's got better command. He still walks batters, but I think he's kind of sacrificed. He's not walking as much, and he's not striking out as many. You know, he's becoming more of a cerebral pitcher in the fact that he's more economical with his work. He's embracing soft contact. And he's just becoming a truly what looks like a veteran pitcher in the major leagues right before our eyes. I think he's starting to play himself into that conversation of come playoff time, but hoping we get there, knock on wood, he could be a starter in the playoffs. Like that's I don't think it's crazy to say that he could be for the Yankees. I mean, with the way he's been performing and with hopefully how he continues to perform, he's been arguably our best starter in when Max Fried has been skidding and when we've kind of had these issues with the rotation giving us length. He's been our best starter. So really happy to see him continue to grow right before our eyes. I mean, I think he's going to be a big piece of this team going forward. I had questions about him at the start of the season about his mentality as a pitcher, and he's proved me wrong in almost every aspect. He's been able to bounce back from tough innings. He's given us length. So really excited for the future of Will Warren, not only past this season long term, but also this season. I think he's going to help us out come October. But something that became kind of a talking point when our starters weren't giving us the length we were looking for in the ball games was the bullpen kind of went under fire. You know, it got roughed up a few times, but I think that's more on the starters' lack of going deep into games rather than the bullpen's quality. We have one of the best bullpens in baseball. David Bednar, Camilo Doval, Luke Weaver, even Devin Williams when he's right are all premier relievers. Tim Hill's an absolute dog. Brent Hedrick has been absolutely amazing since coming back up. He's looked like he's figured out. Yerry De Los Santos has been great. Mo Clyder Jr., now that he's not dealing with quite literally a broken leg, he's been very good. So like I said, our bullpen is fantastic, but when your starter's only going 4 or 5 innings, you're asking for 12, 13, 14 outs a day from them. Like the bigger likelihood that they're going to be fatigued or that they're going to struggle. Now that our starters are giving us length, you've seen the past couple days when we've been in this 3-for-4 win, 3 wins out of 4, that our starters have given us more length and the bullpen has been more locked down because we're not asking guys to pitch every day. We can give guys lanes. We can assign them specific batters we want them to face. We're not having to throw pitchers in just because we need someone to go out there and try to get outs. Like, we're able to plan a little bit better now that we're being a little bit more economical with our starting pitching. So I feel like the starters starting to finally go deep into games again is going to really bring this bullpen up to what it truly can be, and I think that's be the best bullpen in baseball. I truly do. I think David Bednar especially has been absolutely incredible. He's become the Yankees closer with the struggles of Devin Williams, who I'll talk more about in a second, but he's been absolutely amazing. The bulldog mentality from him it's every time he comes in the game, something about me gets excited. I'm just like, geez, this guy's an animal. That curveball is special. The splitter is disgusting, and we all know the fastball. The location on the fastball has been what's been impressing me the most. Not just the fact that he throws at 98 miles an hour. I mean, he's been locating it top, bottom of the zone, east and west really well, striking out a ton of hitters since coming over from Pittsburgh. So I think he's going to be an absolute animal down the stretch and into October. And like I said, the other deadline acquisitions, Camilo Doval has had a few tough outings with the command, but you can't deny the stuff. I mean, that 100-mile-an-hour cutter, geez, that is just unfair. And then the devastating slider. I'm really high on this bullpen, and I think it's going to continue to get even better now that our starters are finally giving us some damn length. But unfortunately, a guy who hasn't done as well lately, I shouldn't say he hasn't done as well lately. In the past few outings, he's actually been very good in lower leverage spots. It's Devin Williams, right? We know the Houston series was rough on him. Demoted from the closer role, essentially. He's been in lower leverage spots, but in those lower leverage spots, he's looked pretty good. You know, scoreless outings, struck out the side in one of them. And in general, I think his command was just back. He was pitching with confidence, right? He's not a guy like David Bednar. David Bednar goes out there and he looks down on hitters. He looks like he wants to stomp on the batter. Devin Williams is a little bit more composed in the sense that he goes out there and he does his business. He still gets hyped up, but I think right now he's a little bit shot for confidence, especially with the struggles. For a while there, he was dominant. He had an ERA sub 2, and I think it was like his 30 appearances in the middle of the season or something like that. But then again, recently and at the start of the season, he's been having such monumental struggles that have ballooned his ERA and ballooned his stats. And when you're in the biggest market in baseball in New York, in the Bronx, it's going to be amplified. You're under the microscope constantly, and some guys don't respond as well to that. And you got to think, this is his first year in the Bronx, right? He's a free agent after this year. He's playing for his job, for the amount of money he's going to get with any team. Hopefully it's with the Yankees. I'd like to see him have a successful run and stay, because at the end of the day, think about it. We're the Yankees, right? All that matters is the postseason. Once we get there, all that matters is the postseason. You can completely flip the script on your Yankee tenure or on your season if you have a successful October. Like, think about Mo Clyder Jr. last year, who really struggled at certain points after coming over at the trade deadline last year, but then had a very good October. And now, going into the season, he was one of our best relievers. And then now coming back from injury, he's one of our high-leverage guys that's asked to get a consistent amount of outs, right? So if you're successful in October, the Bronx, it can just be happy with you, even if you had a bad year. And he's playing for the amount of money he's going to get, right? Like, you can't deny the quality. The quality's there. It's just the fact that he's been missing with his fastball when he's in those high leverage spots. When he's struggling, he's getting behind in the count. He's not locating his fastball, and then hitters can sit on the changeup. It doesn't matter how good it is. It doesn't matter that it's got the best spin in baseball. It's basically a screwball. I mean, it's disgusting. Hitters can sit on it, and they can catch up to it. They can get to it, because at the end of the day, these are major league hitters. You got to be able to locate both of your pitches if you're going to only throw two. But the quality is there. This guy's a reliever of the year award winner. He's a rookie of the year award winner. If he can get right, he can be a force for the Yankees down the stretch and into October, and he can flip the script on this whole season. I do believe in him still, but he's got to figure it out soon. I think a week or two more of lower leverage spots before gradually trying to introduce it. I think now, like I said, now that the starters are giving us some length, we can put him in lanes that we think are favorable for him before we kind of try to reintroduce him into high leverage spots. Not necessarily the closer role, because I think David Bednar has owned that. But high leverage spots, he could be an absolute force for the Yankees come October and down the regular season stretch for sure. Okay, and I wanted to talk on Aaron Judge for a second. Coming back from the IL, he hasn't been as sharp as he was prior to going on the IL. I mean, it should kind of go without saying that that's common. I mean, he did miss 10 days. There was no rehab assignment. He did face live pitching before, but he's still been able to contribute to the team. He's taken his walks. I mean, I think the only thing that I've noticed is that there's some pitches that when he's right, he normally crushes, that he's just missing, just getting onto or fouling him off. But that's going to come, right? You can expect it to maybe take a little bit, but he's the best hitter in the game. Like, I'm not worried about him. Some people are saying, sit Judge, give up on the season. That goes to that whole rant I had earlier. We don't sit our best player, right? He is fine. If he was not eligible to play, if this injury was affecting his ability to play in any way, shape, or form, we would not be playing him. I understand we need him, but it's not like with his toe thing back in 2023, right? Where if this was significantly harming his ability to hit the baseball, he would not be playing. The only reason he's not back in the field is because he can't throw. Like, people don't understand that these are the best, orthopedic doctors in the world. They're clearing him to be able to play. Sure, he might have to have some treatment before each game, but it's not going to affect his ability to hit the baseball, and when he's ready to play the field, he'll be able to play the field safely, and it won't affect his ability to do that either. Like, people don't understand that. Sit him, he doesn't look right because he's struggling a little bit at the plate, and by struggling, he's still contributing to the team. He's still taking walks. He's hit the ball hard a lot of times. He's had his first homer off the IL, absolutely cranked it out to center field. Like, I think people, I don't know, it just goes back to my whole earlier point. It annoys me so much when people say, sit Judge, he doesn't look right, just because he grounds out 3 times or he has an 0 for night. Like, it happens to the best in the game. He is the best hitter in the game. He's going to win the MVP this year. He's the reigning MVP. Like, just, everybody needs to chill and give the man a second to get back to his usual self. Once he gets right, I mean, nobody can put together a month like Aaron Judge can. Dude can put up whole season numbers in 10 or 12 days for some guys. I mean, it's ridiculous. And on the note of Judge, I unfortunately have to talk about the MVP situation. Look, Cal Raleigh's doing an amazing job in Seattle. No disrespect to him. But you don't give the MVP to a guy who's tied for, 70th in average in the major leagues. He's hitting .245. Sure, he's a great slugger. He's a great highlight hitter. But he's not the best hitter in the game. He's not the best player in the game. It's Judge by a mile. I mean, let me list what Judge leads in here. Average by about 21 points. OPS by 130 points. You read that right, 130 points. Slugging by 70 points and 50 by OBP. Oh, and that's not just for the American League. That's not just over Raleigh. That's over everybody in the game. That's American League and National League. That's MLB wide. And then Raleigh only leads in homers and OBIs. So Judge also leads in WAR as well, even though he spent some time on the IL. So it's not even a debate. It's not even a debate at all. Like, the fact that people say Cal Raleigh should be the MVP, it's almost laughable. I mean, Aaron Judge is better in literally every single way. The only thing that Cal Raleigh has going for him, besides the fact that he's hit more homers this year and more RBIs, is the fact that he plays catcher. Aaron Judge has been a better defender at his position in right field than Raleigh has been at catcher this year. Yes, I understand catching is a much harder job than playing right field. I am not debating that at all. And I am not a Cal Raleigh hater. I think he's a great player. He seems like a great dude. But when people underestimate Aaron Judge and the historic season he's having, and also just the fact that he could potentially go down as the greatest right-handed hitter of all time, it pisses me off. I'm not going to have that as a Yankees fan. That's my guy. That's my captain. That's big number 99. We're not going to tolerate that slander for our guy. And I do have some numbers pulled up here that I would like you guys to know just to further prove my point. WRC plus, weighted runs created plus. Aaron Judge leads the league with 201 points. Next up is Ronald Acuna Jr. with 179. Shohei Ohtani with 173. Nick Coach with 173, tied with Shohei Ohtani. Giancarlo Stanton is 7th with 159. You know who's right behind Giancarlo Stanton? Cal Raleigh with 158. So they want to argue that Cal Raleigh should be the MVP when he has a lower WRC plus when Giancarlo Stanton, who is having a ridiculous season, don't get me wrong, but is not even the best player on his own team. Yeah, no, it's interesting. That's an interesting argument there. I'm going to just leave that there for anybody that wants to. You can take it how you will, but yeah, if I speak, I'm in big trouble. Aaron Judge is the MVP. Let's just leave it at that. Okay, but to end it off on a fun note, I just wanted to leave this out there. Michael Kay, Joe Girardi, to Paul O'Neill is the greatest broadcast booth in baseball. I mean, listening to them every day it's amazing. I mean, truly, the ideas they bounce off each other is incredible. I mean, I think Michael Kay sometimes gets a lot of hate, but he's one of the best broadcasters out there. I think he's amazing. Sometimes I have to watch the games through other teams' podcasts. And listening to them talk, they are so biased and they can be so frustrating sometimes. Michael Kay is neutral. And then that whole broadcast booth, I think just anyone that's not even Yankees fans, you can listen to that and have a good time just listening to them chat about the game. They love the game, and they're not just going to sit there and slander the opponents of the Yankees. They're going to give them their respect, and they're going to, obviously root for the Yankees, but they're not going to, disrespect your team if you're coming to town. Like, they're going to give you good calls when your team hits homers and when your team makes good plays. They're just the best booth around. I mean, I know there's a lot of great booths out there, but they're absolutely amazing. That's just a fun note I wanted to throw in there, just because I just wanted to bring notice to that. I love watching the Yes Network every day. I mean, it's so fun. It's the best part of the day, like I said. And I did forget to mention, obviously, Ahmed Rosario and Austin Slater are both injured at the moment, so both platoon options we got at the deadline are both injured. Slater's going to be out for, right now, what it looks like to be 4 weeks with that hamstring injury, and then Rosario, obviously, should be back at the end of his 10-day stint on the IL, so not too long for him. And then Goldschmidt will avoid the IL. He came in to play defense today, so he's fine. It was just a low-grade sprain and some inflammation, but he'll be fine. And as always, if you guys enjoyed the episode here, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, follow the socials. I post Yankees content pretty much every day on there, and then long-form content here. I appreciate everybody that showed support on the podcast, whether that's been messaging me via social media or commenting here, liking the video. I do appreciate every single one of you guys. It means more to me than you could possibly imagine. As always, go Yankees. Hopefully we can get this series win in St. Louis, and then we got an off day, and then Tampa, and then back at home against the Dirty Red Sox. So, yeah, big stuff coming for the Yankees, but thank you guys sincerely, and I hope you all have a good day. Go Yankees, and peace out.